episode 402 of Global from Asia. Today we're talking, it's an advanced one, advanced shipping containers, sharing containers from Thailand to US or overseas. It's one of, I like these. He's not been on podcasts before, and these people are head down doing business, cross-border trade. Let's tune in today.
Welcome to the Global from Asia podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight-up, actionable advice. And now, your host, Michael Michelini.
Grab is everywhere here in Thailand. It's a nice, I like this trees. If you're watching on the video version, you'll see this like red flower tree behind me. I've been noticing it more this year in Chiang Mai. So today we got a cool one. Cengiz Gonzalez. He's an American here in Thailand, business owner, entrepreneur, making things happen. I've gotten a chance to see him quite a few times. I visited his office. We did a little video actually. Luciano was here of his operations. He's a seller himself. He has a factory here. He also has a logistics center here. So we're gonna put the video as well. It's not this show, but we're gonna have a video tour of his facility I did with Luciano a month or so ago. But today what happened was I was learning about container shipping. We got a few brands now we're doing here in our Amazon investments team, and I needed to learn this myself. And I said, hey, Cengiz, can I just record this? Can I just record this and use it as a podcast? So he's like, yeah, sure, why not? And we just dove right in. I didn't even introduce him, but he's the CEO and founder of Go Terrestrial, which does like logistics, shared containers, mostly ocean containers from Thailand to the US. And he's got his experience, he's doing it for himself. He'll also be at the Cross Border Summit. We made a deal. He'll be sharing, also have a little booth there. So it'd be really cool for those coming to meet him. He's really working hard. So let's tune into the show, and we will see what is some insights about ocean containers, sharing containers, 40-foot, 20-foot, consolidating, trucking, air, a little bit, mostly ocean. But I would call this advanced, and we just kind of went right into it, no BS. And I needed this, our team used it for our own business. So let's tune in. All right, we have Tommy, the sales manager at Cross Better Logistics. How are you, Tommy?
Hi, everyone.
We just got to meet here in Shenzhen, China. It's great. They support the show at Global from Asia, and we also use them ourselves for many of our brands and e-commerce businesses. And Tommy really cares. They always are trying to help us save money. You have some products you keep for us in China. You have some products you keep for us in the U.S. warehouse, and I really appreciate that. And you can talk to this seller, right? You can give them your advice. You work with many Chinese sellers a lot, right? And you can help the sellers understand more.
Yeah, we are very professional for the shipment to USA and Canada. Also, we have warehouse in USA and Canada. We can help our factories, suppliers, sellers for the shipment.
Yes.
Yeah, for the e-commerce business.
Yep, and you even keep stuff in China too. So sometimes if you have the limitations of sending too much to Amazon, you can keep it here in China with Cross Better, or you can send, of course, to the U.S. warehouse. They have many different options, and they're always trying their best to find out what's the best solution for you. So Definitely talk to Tommy, talk to Cross Better, and thank you for your support of the community.
Yes, we have good pricing and better service.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I'll walk you through the entire process from shipping your cargo by sea into FBA. So from my understanding, you guys have a 40-foot equivalent, right?
Yeah. So maybe I guess it's good. I'll share this beginning.
Sure.
So we started this brand during COVID, and we actually tried to send a 40-foot to the Amazon directly, but there had the limitations. So we had to use a 3PL in LA.
Sure.
Actually, there was a lot of nightmares with that, but that's another story. And so we've gone through a lot of that, although some of that's stolen. I'd consider stolen, but not released. But anyways, we're sending more, and we have another 40-foot container. And we want Amazon will allow us to send it all in. We can book the shipping plan, but the shipping plan is giving us, we've canceled a rebook twice. We've changed settings. It keeps giving us 2 or 3 different ones all around the US, like Michigan, like Kentucky, like all over. So
Sure.
we've been chatting, and I've been talking to a lot of other friends. They most say it's not possible to send one container to Amazon anymore. Or maybe if it ever, I'll be honest, I usually never do. So this one's a bit bigger. It's a bigger one for me, but I don't usually do this. So one friend said there's some software I sent you. I don't feel like mentioning the name, but
Sure. Yep.
a friend says maybe you can get that to kind of fit it to one fulfillment center. I don't know. We're trying to learn that, but it's still syncing the API. As I record this in 24 hours, they're still syncing the API. It's just software. It's not a service. It's just software. It's supposed to make it, but that's kind of the situation. So I know you do. We've been. You specialize in oceans from Thailand to the U.S. So I probably should have brought this up to you earlier, but it's basically, at the factory ready. He's never done FBA prep. So we have to teach him FBA prep because we did it to the LA before, and they prepped it. And, when we got the shipping plan, so we got to teach them FBA prep. I don't know if we still need to do that if we're using your solution, but basically we're scrambling because we're low on some of these items. Right? So we're a little bit low on some items. So we really it's been like over a week, actually longer, because some ACEs we had to create, they flagged us hazmat. We had to wait for hazmat, and we keep hitting these bumps. Now we're getting 2 or 3 shipping centers all over the US, and we've been trying to solve this for like 2 days now. That's kind of the story.
Great. Oh, okay. So I'll probably ask you just a couple of questions about the shipment, then I'll kind of walk you through the process.
Sure.
And then, then we can sort of we can start running some numbers maybe, and then see like, okay, what's actually the most sense for you? Like, what's going to save you guys the most money? And then hopefully if there's something in it for us, then it's a win-win.
Sure.
So you said hazmat, right? That might be an issue. We see that a lot.
It got approved. We fixed that, but we do.
Liquid by any chance?
What's that?
Are the items liquid?
No liquid. They touch liquid. They're pour spouts, bottle openers, not openers, but they're all plastic. That they're approved for the U.S. FDA approved.
I'm assuming they're just standard small items.
Yeah, I mean, I got
oversized
here. Like this is one.
Okay, yeah, that looks pretty small actually.
This is they're small. Like this is a glass rimmer for cocktails.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
And this, cool. I think they flagged the pour spouts. But they always approve it. But they
flagged it as potential hazmat, right?
This, you see these? They're bottle top. They go on the top of a bottle.
Got it. So this is like for a wine pour or something?
Yeah.
Or so just any bottle?
Wine pours is another keyword. Yeah, wine pours, bottle pours. And then bar caddies.
Sure.
So it's all injectionable plastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, awesome that the brand is like,
Yeah, it's all custom packaging. We've done all of this,
Okay. Perfect. And then
GTIN, barcodes, registered brand registry, everything.
Yeah.
We actually have we registered a U.S. corporation for this. So
perfect. That's it.
We actually did a custom. We have our own customs bond we did last year.
Okay.
I don't know if we should use it or not for.
Yeah. If it's a container, yeah, for sure. And you probably want to renew it every year as well.
Yep. Yeah. So we have an agent in the U.S. for that.
And then the Thai company can serve as the shipper, right, from Thailand?
Yeah, that's what we've done.
Perfect. So you guys are doing it completely by the book. That's fantastic. You shouldn't have any issues shipping out of Thailand and importing it into the US. That's the good news. So for Amazon, we've sent hundreds and hundreds of shipments into Amazon, and it's a hit or miss. So I think I was mentioning in the email, we have a warehouse in the Los Angeles area. So precisely because we have an address there, and I'm guessing maybe this is what that software is doing for you. It's setting the shipping address as a localized US address. And as a result, Amazon tries to pair you up with an FBA warehouse nearby. So they do this for small standard items. For oversized items, we've never had any luck getting a nearby warehouse. So usually it's the next state over or a few states over. But for smaller items, it's always Southern California. Once in a while, we'll get Arizona. Once in a while, Nevada. But it's always in that area. So that's the good news. If you pass through our warehouse, you'll have that the last mile delivery is going to be a lot cheaper. You don't have to truck it halfway around the country. As far as getting it into one warehouse, you can use inventory placement, but that is crazy expensive. I don't know if you've played around with that yet, Mike.
I think that's what we were maybe trying to do, that some friends were telling us about, to try to rearrange the shipping plan. So we were rearranging. The other thing to note is our partner in the factory insists to do floor loaded, not palletized. So this is a floor loaded container.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that could be an issue. I'm not sure if Amazon accepts floor load, to be honest.
We researched recently and it says they do. But
okay.
I don't know. I mean, we're also double checking, but it says they do.
And my knowledge is obsolete because it's been 7 years since I worked in an Amazon FBA warehouse. And back then it was only returns that were floor loaded. Everything else was, for sale was arriving palletized.
Okay.
And this was mainly because they have two separate receiving teams. They have the pallet team, and that it goes to a special locked zone that's for pallets, and then a secondary team comes in and breaks the pallets up, and then puts those. Then that team also breaks it down into individual units, and that's how it gets stocked in the shelves. I'm setting inventory placement. I'm setting that word just to research in your chat. It's in the settings.
Okay. Yeah.
Choose your shipment settings. The problem with inventory placement is that they charge by the piece, and I think it could be as high as 55 cents per piece now. Per piece. So that's insane. If you're sending a 40-footer, I'm assuming just by the size of that unit, you're probably looking at, I don't know, about 4,000 units at least, maybe more in that container. So the inventory placement fees are going to be insane. We're looking at $2,000 already. Okay. So it's probably not an option you want.
Yeah, I understand.
Right. And then, so the advantage of palletizing is that, Amazon can definitely receive that. We've done it all the time. But then, as you know, the disadvantage is there's more cost upfront on the Thai side, right? Because you're going to have to get the pallet wood and to wrap it a certain way and follow all the rules of how Amazon palletizes. So, that's the draw. Yeah,
so this is where we've been. I can send you a blog post, and I had a horrible experience in our last receiving warehouse.
Sure. But, was it floor loaded?
Yeah, it was floor loaded.
So so my guess would be they lost some pieces or misplaced them.
It's such a long story, and they wanted $20,000 to receive 2 containers.
Okay, that's not cool at all.
They said that's normal rate for LA before that. And they were insisting I send them quotes that show otherwise, and I sent them multiple other quotes, and they said those are not real, or those are not actually West Coast or something like this. And then we made a payment to them of $5,000, and then they disappeared and haven't responded and essentially stolen our product.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a lawsuit up and coming, but then I can't imagine the pain.
I mean, it's the worst is it was a friend before, so yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, I mean, that's ridiculous, that receiving fee. From what I've seen, in fact, we would only charge a few $100s to receive, because it's just the labor. It's just the labor of pulling stuff off, a container and then shelving it, which might take a couple hours.
I mean, that seems really low, honestly. I mean, normally we were thinking at least 3,000 to 4,000 US, because to
receive a container,
2 40-foot containers floor loaded.
This is just the warehouse receiving fee.
Yeah, not shipping.
Oh, yeah, no, no, we wouldn't charge that high. We to be fair, we haven't done a floor load, but it's not that high.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That just re-verifies. Yeah. Anyway, let's move forward.
Sure, and that's another reason why you'd want to palletize too, because with palletization, it takes minutes, right? I mean, the forklift just comes in, takes a stack off, and then just repeats 20 times, and you're done. Mm-hmm. So you might lose a little bit of space. You're going to lose about maybe 8 to 10% space of the container, because you've got all that extra air and wood from the pallet. but you make up for it on the tail end with just much cheaper receiving costs.
Got it. Okay.
Sure. So I'll walk you through with just our generic kind of process. Sorry if my eyes dart because I'm looking at another screen.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
So the first thing, yeah, it's going to be an FBA shipment. That's the first thing we check is if it's going to be an FBA shipment, which it is. We're still leaning heavily towards pallet, and of course we can run the numbers if you want towards the end of the Zoom call and just do the number crunching. It looks like you've already produced it. You've already checked all the boxes. You guys are the shipper from the Thai company. Do you guys have an export license already in Thailand, as far as you know?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we do.
Perfect.
And we have a normal export agent so when we did the other containers, the factory, our partner and they had their export side and we had our shipping side
Import
talking.
side. Yeah. Okay.
Import side talking.
Sure. Okay. So let's see. What else are we looking at? Okay. The importer is going to be a U.S. company.
Yeah.
So as long as you have a U.S. tax ID, an EIN.
EIN, Florida corporation.
Perfect.
We already have the customs bond, at least last time.
Perfect. Then you are set. And you guys will be your own consignee, so that's not a problem. Let's see. No FDA issues, right? This is not an FDA or, doesn't look like there's any extra labeling.
I mean, when we imported last time, there was wood. We're not sending wood this time, but it wasn't a big issue, but there was something that we had to provide for the wood origin.
Wood requires the Lacey Act paperwork. That's super easy to do. All you need is the weight and basically the value and the species of the wood. Let's see. Yeah, so I think those are really the big checks that you need. And of course, invoice and packing list, which you can generate pretty easily enough. Once the container leaves, there's something called an importer security filing. That's something that your agent should do. It just basically lets U.S. Customs know that, hey, we got a shipment inbound. It should all be done kind of in the background. You shouldn't even be aware of it. And then normally you give your import agent about a 1 week heads up before the ship's about to arrive, and they'll start preparing the paperwork. I'm assuming the ship arrives in Los Angeles. I'm assuming is the port you're looking at.
Yeah, I mean LAX is what we would.
Sure, yeah. And then from then on, it's about a 1 week clearance process. Then that's the first big expense in the U.S. So you're usually looking at around $500 to $1,000 to clear because of all the paperwork and labor is so expensive in the U.S. So all the paperwork's got to be filed. The next expense is drayage. So that's when we got to get basically a tractor trailer, like an 18-wheeler, to go down to the port and retrieve the container, right? So that has a bunch of fees, not only the labor, but we have to pay for a port pass and, all the fees, environmental fees and this and that. Drayage can be close to $1,000 as well. Once that's done, then the container is typically brought into a warehouse, like it could be our warehouse. And then from then on, it's just devan, which is basically pull all the contents out. And if you've got an Amazon shipment plan already set up, then it's just a matter of arranging Amazon to come and pick up the pallets from then on. Or if you don't want to send it to Amazon right away, then storage by the pallet or even by the carton is an option.
Yeah, so maybe since I know we've been chatting about it, but maybe just for the completeness of the call, as we know, Amazon keeps increasing their storage fees. Can you remind me what happened with that? Sure. Currently, the rate is 87 cents per cubic meter per month. And this assumes that a relatively, your goods are flowing. I think if you've got an average dwell time of over 6 months, the rate increases again to around $1.50. I think I have to double check. And then if you hit the 9-month mark, it goes up even more. And then as you know, the fourth quarter, that's when it gets insane. It goes in like the $2, $2.50 range per cubic foot per month. So that's definitely something you want to be wary of. You just want to bring in the minimum amount into FBA that's needed to, to not run out of stock, basically. And this is the one good thing of using a third-party warehouse for temporary storage. You can get cheaper rates usually. For example, our warehouse, I think we charge 50 cents a cubic foot per month. So and there's no gimmicks. Like if you hold up for more than 6 months or during December, the rate is still the same.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So one thing, are you familiar with Amazon Partner Carrier?
I think you mentioned it to me before, but
APC or Amazon Partner Carrier. It's a system we're on, and what it basically means is that last mile delivery to FBA, it can be done two ways. You can arrange your own truck to deliver straight into the Amazon warehouse, or you can tell Amazon to pick it up from you. So the advantage of telling Amazon to come and pick it up from you is that they are cheap. They are so much cheaper than other trucking companies that it doesn't even make sense to use other trucking companies to do that last mile. Just as a sort of an example, within California, it typically costs us around $100 per pallet to do that final delivery. And that's deducted from your Amazon seller account. So Amazon will come, they'll pick up your pallet, they'll inbound it, and then at that point, your seller central account will get pulled about $100 per pallet. If you were to use a private trucking company, the cheapest rates we're able to get now is around $200 or $300 per pallet, even within California. And if you're shipping to, let's say, Texas from California or something, then the rates will go like $300, $400, $500 a pallet. So it's definitely the way to go for that last mile.
Okay.
The only drawback to APC is that they're a little slow, so you just have to, plan bounding a little bit more. So like the best trucking companies we use will typically get your cargo into Amazon FBA within maybe 3 to 5 days. Amazon may take twice as long, maybe a week or so, but as usually it's still worth it for us.
Makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, do you want to share about the idea of like maybe not sending the whole container at once and splitting it?
Yeah, so this is something that actually a couple of our customers do. So we're a small business, so we work with a lot of small businesses. And a lot of them aren't able to just churn out container after container after container, a couple times a month. So what they opt to do is they may be like, hey, we guarantee we'll send you a container's worth. Can you give us 3 months to do it? And then we'll write a contract and be like, sure, we'll give you the container rate plus extra paperwork fees. And then you can send maybe 6, 7 pallets at a time. 40 pallets go inside a container, by the way. So, and this way they're able to maintain a good rate while not putting too much stress on their factory. It benefits them. It benefits us because we have continuous cargo coming in, and we're both able to benefit off of this. So for something like this, you might not need to send that entire 40-footer right away. Maybe that's 6 months worth of inventory. So you might only want to send maybe a third of it, and then the next month a third of it, and then so on.
Okay.
So that could be an idea, because storage in Thailand is much cheaper. Mm-hmm. It's probably free at the factory, so you can just hold on to it and then you just plan like 2 months out, which is about the amount of time it would take leaving your factory before it gets into Amazon.
I know we're planning a 20-footer LCL in July right now. Mm-hmm. So maybe it would be, do you think LCL or 20-foot? I mean,
we can run the numbers. Sometimes we have people say they want to do a 20-footer, and then they'll come to us and we're able to beat a 20-foot price because we just take their 20-footer worth of cargo, pair it with some other cargo. We got a 40-footer, and then the 40-footer goes. And because a 40-footer is actually not that much more expensive than shipping a 20-footer, we can pass the savings on to the customer, and then we get a customer out of it as well.
Got it. Okay.
So that could be an idea.
Yeah. So that's later we can talk about. But yeah, this one is a bit more urgent.
If it's super urgent, I'm just throwing ideas around. Obviously, we'll look at the numbers. One thing we've often done is we just pick up the cargo direct from the factory. Like we literally have a truck down there tomorrow, and we can do the entire prep at our warehouse. So, and then since you're here in Chiang Mai, you could just come in and look at it. So it'll be everything from barcoding at the individual level if needed.
They're down in Hua Hin. I mean, but it would make sense to come up and go down again.
Yeah, that's a good question. We get asked that pretty frequently. In the big picture, if you're sending a lot of cargo, no, it obviously doesn't. But if you're not quite a big seller, it does in some ways, because labor is cheaper up here in Chiang Mai, and so is rent. So we pay much less rent than, let's say, in Hua Hin or in the Bangkok, Chonburi area. And because of that, there's some savings to the actual labor for, putting together the cargo. And then obviously as you guys grow and grow and grow, then, there's going to be better options down the road, maybe a warehouse closer to the port, or maybe, we can figure out how to train the Hua Hin team to pack pallets, and create Amazon shipments by the pallet and so on.
Got it. Well, the reason about the pallets is not they don't know how, but he insists they can fit so much more product.
Yes, you absolutely can. But yeah, but you just got to run the numbers and see, well, if I can get 10% more product on the pallet, is that offset by $2,000 offloading?
Yeah, I see. Okay. I think we covered it.
Sure. Yeah. Do you want to look at some numbers?
Yeah, so let me see
data
if I can find.
So I don't know if you've talked to some shipping companies about booking a 40-footer.
Yeah. I mean,
these days,
they say rates are going to go up in July. I don't know if that's
maybe because we're nearing the fourth quarter, right? So July, August, September is everyone's trying to push items in for Christmas. Typically, if you talk to just the freight forwarder, the current rate for a 40-footer is in the $2,000 range, but that is just the voyage. Right, so none of these guys talk to you about the trucking costs or the paperwork costs, or on both the U.S. and the Thai side, and then all the other paperwork that's involved. But I would estimate that to do a full service into, let's say, our LA warehouse, it's probably going to be $7,000 or $8,000, because everything else is like paperwork and trucking and all that, and the labor of packing materials, that stuff.
Okay. So I'm looking up the packing list. But I'm looking it up. But it's I think 7 different SKUs in the 40-foot by carton.
Okay, yeah, that's great. That's not too insane. We have some sellers that sell one pallet's got 50 SKUs on it.
Yeah, 7 or 8.
So they're pretty complicated to do the paperwork for.
And thank you to our sponsor, our returning sponsor, Mercury.com, online bank. Well, it's a real bank, but you can do it totally online for US. Our Blimp program participants are going through this as well. Thank you, Mercury. Travis is great there. He's been on our show. He's been in our events. We're going to have another event where we will have them attending as well. And if you want to get a little bonus for you and us, if you sign up and do some special circumstances, you can go to globalfromasia.com/Mercury. I also have a video tutorial that we use even for the Blimp people. I use the same exact video to learn how to use it. I hope you can check it out. Totally free. Why not? See you there. Thank you so much, Cengiz. That again was Cengiz Gonzalez. I think first podcast interview he's been on, I believe he said. I think he did great, but to me, it's about this really unique content, this content that's hard to find anywhere, I'll have to be honest, I was even considering not publishing it. It crossed my mind. I'm like, this is just really juicy, really informative, valuable, no BS content. But I'm thinking, this is what Global From Asia is supposed to be. I can't believe I'm going to say it, but I've been out in Asia since 2007, like 15 years. Been selling online since 2004, almost 20 years, 15 years in Asia, 20 years doing e-commerce. And just like the Cross-Border Summit, people like Cengiz are going to be there. Yeah, we got some kind of famous people that are on podcasts, but we got a lot of people that are not famous, that are amazing, that will teach you and share with you just raw knowledge about how to do trade and business and e-commerce and Amazon from Asia around the world. It's going to be just an amazing one. We still got like 6 months to go. It's been nice though to get people applying. We're talking to them. Our team's doing great talking to those people, making sure they're the right fit. Because I want this conference to be something that I want, with no recordings. We're going to be just like 100, 150 max people with speakers and attendees and sponsors. So it's going to be a really, really amazing one. And I'm just putting everything we got into this. And thanks, Cengiz, for sharing. Thanks to me, thanks to our team. My team, actually our e-commerce team, not our content team, made the show notes because we put this also as an SOP because we learn new things. And again, it's kind of a little bit of a conflict of interest, a little bit, because I'm a seller and I'm also a content sharer, but I said whatever. I just hope you get something out of this, sharing the raw knowledge, the raw secrets that we get here, totally for free. It's a beautiful day. It's kind of hot though. There is a lime tree right here, and check this out if you're watching. There's limes right there. You know, this is what life is about. You know, you don't need lots of fancy things. You know, just try to make a better life for yourself, your family, those friends around you. So again, thanks for watching. I'm carrying my camera around for the intro, outro, and enjoying what I do. You know, living it, breathing e-commerce, Web3. I got some interesting things. We always got so much stuff going on. It's like non-stop work. Anyways, thanks for watching. Sending the best. This is going to be globalfromasia.com/Thailand-shipping. See you later.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromasia.com. That's www.globalfromasia.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.